Go ahead and bring the meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. It is April 11th, 2023 at 6:33. And thank you, Jeff, for taking minutes.
I should have, just so you do that.
So we will start by taking a look at the minutes for March 14th. And I know most of us, this is our, probably need a minute to take a look at it. So go ahead and
Looks like a fine job whoever did this. Oh, yeah.
You just made stuff.
Yep.
Nothing.
Any comments or changes, edits? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Approve minutes. That's written.
First, second. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you, Clifford. All right. On to our next public comment. Doesn't look like there's any guests here otherwise, so we'll move on to new business. One thing that I did get from, I just got it today from ODOT. There's some bike and pedestrian materials that are downloadable, and like be sure you're seen, dressed brightly, and different educational materials that we might want to post around town or on our Facebook page or city. So anyway, I will send that out. Everyone can look at them, and then we can decide maybe next month if it's something we can post.
Is this new business?
And that would be new business too. Well, actually, that is, Bruce, would you call that new business, or is that just?
Make it part of it. Let me make it part of it.
What's that?
Let me make it part of it.
Yeah. So it will fall under the county. That's good. And then on to any other new business?
I have the thing on Malala River Watch, annual cleanup, someplace in the minutes.
Yeah. No, go right ahead.
You want to go ahead and get it done now?
Sure.
Okay, Malala River Watch is having their 30th annual spring Malala River cleanup. It has been on Saturday, April 22nd, to meet at Fire Park. Of course, they're partnering with BLM and Clackamas County Parks, and there's a you want to look at it, there's a website to go through to sign up for it, and it's sponsored with Sauls. And I sent this afternoon a copy to you, so you can forward it
Yes.
to everybody on the committee.
And I did.
And I also put it on our Facebook page, McKinney Logan.
Terrific. Excellent. So I did send that out at about 5:35 tonight. So when you get home and check, you can see that flyer and links to sign up and everything.
And they've supported us in the past, it'd be nice if we can support them.
Mhm. Very much so. And it's a partnership that we really tried to foster. And it's a fun thing, and we learn a lot about maintenance and then also great networking for
Mhm.
our Malala River corridor here. So, and any other comments on that? Thank you,
Is
Bruce.
that something that we should, oh wait, did you say that
He
was?
posted it.
That,
Yeah,
It's already on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
webpage.
yeah, that's great.
and they should do that in Spanish too, shouldn't they? Yeah.
Well, I would springboard the idea is maybe we need to have a cleanup on the logging.
Say that again?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm hard of hearing.
I think we should have maybe a cleanup day on the logging road at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, we should.
That's
And that's something that we usually need, we might need to partner with them because we usually need, if it's a volunteer thing, we need the, covered by the, what do you call it, nonprofits, I want to call it C3PO.
Volunteer coverage.
Very-
What's that?
The volunteer coverage.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, just for liability and, yeah. And so,
So maybe we can make a request of them and find out how we do that.
yeah,
And that would be an action item. And you'll get back to us next month.
Do we have a contact at the River Watch?
Not, yes, we do,
Yeah.
but it's not the River Watch. We need we needed a coverage within the city. Who does the, like the park and the events park?
Oh, public.
Who's that, the umbrella of that, that's who it should be.
Jeff, maybe? Okay.
Is it the whole logging road that needs cleaning up or certain sections? Because I haven't really noticed it.
I think we could do it all, and, a bunch of us could do it in a day, just walk it, part of it.
Do the
Are you
logging
talking
road, walk
about
and clean
the-
up, start on one end and just walk it,
That's
right?
right.
Is that what you're thinking, Bruce?
Is it,
I don't
are
know.
there a lot of
Talking
garbage?
north of 13th, the one we're
Pretty
using, or
I think that's open
Traverse
discussion,
Hills?
what we want to do, I'm throwing out the
Because I just
idea.
haven't noticed a lot of trash on the side of the logging
Well,
road. Maybe I'm going so fast.
Yeah.
That's why it would be a cleanup slash.
Or do we want to
fun walk.
do
Oh,
the beyond the gun club
There you
walk,
go.
Yeah.
let's find out who would be the umbrella here. And then think about, do we want to, the one idea is you do beyond the logging road, the gun club, to foster better relationships with the people down there. That would be one idea, or just do the
Yeah, that's what we need, Bruce. Let's take a group of like 100 people.
Great idea.
And then you gotta use it.
Yeah.
The public works,
Chainsaws,
yeah, the public works has been very responsive to cleaning up down there at the Traverso section. That might be, let's see how I'm thinking, you guys please discuss. Maybe we start with the regular section first, the in-use section. I don't know. Let's take a good look at it, see what needs are there in particular. Because the other thing that we have to consider is that on sections of it, there are places where that's people's property that is butted up there. How does that all play out? If they are neglecting it, is it okay if we go in there and clean it up? Would that be,
Are we talking about weeding or are we talking about picking up trash?
I was thinking maybe trash, I don't think
I just
we.
haven't seen a lot of
Yeah.
trash stuff.
I think
Yeah.
sometimes there's trash, and then sometimes there's, branches and things that are kind of, hanging down and growing over. What do you guys think?
Well, how wide is the public right of way there? Is it to where the people have the fences, or
Yeah.
that's where it is? Well, then there's really no, I mean, there are people that have planted stuff out there, we don't want to mess around with stuff that they've done, even though it's not their property, because it's nice.
I think we need to really know exactly where that public right of way is, because it might not be to the fence. It might be to the fence, but if it isn't, we want to. Oh, you back up to it? Do you
Yeah,
know?
my understanding is that
Woods and.
everything on the
Yeah.
other side of the
I think
fence.
it's trees.
In fact, they come through
Yeah.
and once a year and cut branches and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we need to be,
Yeah,
Trimming
I
trees.
think that's right, that it wouldn't be bad
Yeah.
to check to make sure.
But I just don't.
Bruce, what was your vision? Just picking up trash or?
My vision was picking up trash, and I think, let's take my recommendation is, Emma finds out what we have to do, who will be the umbrella. She can maybe, shit, I'm not worried about the boundaries, because I think it's pretty obvious. But if we're worried about, she can run that down. We can take a look and see, gosh, what is it down by the log down? We'll survey the whole thing, see how bad it is. Maybe it's
Yeah.
it's not bad at all, but, I know along the roads and stuff, there's always garbage, and I'm assuming there'll be some garbage to be picked up.
and I think it's also a good way to promote the trail too. I mean,
Yeah,
because we're out there doing it, we're not doing anything elaborate, but we can even put a sign up saying what we're doing. And,
We could post it on like Candy Now and get
Yeah.
all those people that come.
I do think we could ask Jeff if there's anything he wants,
Yeah.
some language in picking up garbage down at the traversal section.
say what?
We could ask Jeff
Run for city council.
or Jerry, what needs to be done down in the traversal section, so they could use a little extra.
Yeah, we can
Just
ask
just
them.
inquire about it.
Yeah, sure. That's a good idea.
And we may not do it, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm just throwing out an idea.
Great idea. It's a good thing for outreach to
Yeah.
projects, and it gains momentum and visibility to everything that's going on. So I think it's great.
And I think as far as finding an organization to partner with, it's probably not really something that should necessarily be put on you, because you're the city.
Let me talk to some folks, because the city hosts events, so there's possibility that we have some sort of,
Is that right?
like, I'm not an
Yeah.
insurance person, but, like 4th of July,
Mhm.
there's a
What's the group that
volunteer.
does- What's the group that has that little court park where we have the bike hedge?
Can be livability.
Yes, but Candy Livability, it has the umbrella agencies like music events and stuff like
Farmers
that. And so
markets,
they
yeah.
probably are our umbrella.
The other one is possibly the Canby Garden Club, possibly too, because they go out and do the pickup.
But I think
things.
they're all under Candy Livability, I think.
I'll ask around at City Hall, I'm sure someone.
And should I touch base with Parks and Rec, that we're talking about that? Just an FYI to them.
I can call them and see what they have or can help us with, or suggest.
I think it's not a ask permission thing.
No, I'm not
I think
asking
it's
permission,
just-
FYI.
Just an FYI, like you're saying. Yeah. And, letting them know, this is something we're gonna be, we're exploring.
We're talking about them.
Yeah, I think that's great. And maybe even that maybe is that the place to start, rather than doing, how I was saying, doing a walk thing? Maybe that's better way to kind of get started raising the outreach and visibility of the
I
logging.
mean, you don't
You
want
mean
to
going
like
to-
bring your dog to the pathway to walk in a costume and then the best costume on the dog.
Oh,
or something.
Yeah.
What's your
We can do
costume?
all sorts.
I don't have a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a horse.
And
yourself out.
I have cows.
and who has the most creative pick up their poo?
Yes.
Bring one of your cows.
Well, then
And then you have to do the
the
cleanup.
cleanup thing could come after.
Great, so we have some things to check on and we'll follow up.
Okay, I'll just do an FYI, Parks and Rec, so they know we're talking about.
Yeah, and we don't have a date yet.
We have a date, we don't even have our plans solidified.
Sounds good. Going on, staff and council update. Emma, anything to cover necessarily?
I don't think so. As you probably know, the first advisory committee meeting for the comp plan is this week.
Yes.
So that's kind of the public
That's the
outreach
big
is
thing.
beginning. That's really all I have. Rosie talked about two of this.
I'll talk about
Okay,
that.
yeah.
So,
I can think about,
yeah, so the comprehensive plan update and the transportation safety plan, we are starting our first meeting on Thursday. And there's about 8 meetings, and I'll be attending those.
so Mindy will be the liaison for this committee in that. And so that advisory committee is a conglomerate of committee of individuals from committees, representatives from, various parts of the community. So Mindy will kind of be the voice for all of you, but there will be opportunities throughout the process for everyone.
So we'll be watching for things, for links and comments and things we need, and we'll be talking about it at the meetings, so.
Oh, yes, we got 2 years.
And Emma, is the Walnut Street thing part of that, or is that a separate thing? Because I know last time you said that there was progress thing, and I noticed that there's been like trees and stuff knocked down and things clearing done.
That is separate.
Okay.
It'll be reflected in the TSP because the TSP will document, like, here's our entire system, like road network plans, or, existing plans we built. But, but I'm not aware of anything else. I don't know anything else going on since last night. But it's possible that
But you're
there's
seeing some,
Yeah, just some, they demoed that house last year that was there, and now they've done more clearing out. And
it's possible.
I'm looking forward to it because going along Haynes Road, if you're on a bicycle, like more and more just the trucks driving, because there's a weird zig turn and people just don't always understand to slow down, because it looks like it's straight, but there's actually, and it's just scary. It's scary. And I almost got run off the road by a UPS truck 2 years ago, so I won't ride that road anymore.
Yeah, it will probably be a while before that actually built.
Yeah, because I know that there was some,
Even though it's fast tracked.
Yeah, fast track.
I think there was some engineering stuff
Yeah,
that went
and
through, goes
I think
through a swamp or something.
So, I'm not sure the exact timeline, but I don't know if it's this summer or not. Okay.
okay, thank you. And going on to, any development plans that are coming through anytime
No,
soon?
I haven't seen, any come through, a couple downtown things. We've had preliminary meetings, but nothing kind of substantially relevant that I don't think would.
Yeah.
But if it's
Cliff, any,
I want Lucas to check on the
Oh,
locust to check
yeah, they
You
said
check
they
out-
put in a work order.
for
That, what was the street with the addressing that you noticed was incorrect on the street sign?
E. L.
Public Works said they put in a work order, so I don't know exactly that process, but apparently it's in progress, so you
Is it tax
You can take a
track? 'Cause
picture
that's
and
really what I want.
Maybe
that's
that'll
called
give,
the public works.
you can give the old signage to you and put it on your wall.
No, the signs are all good, they're just in the wrong
They just
place.
have to be swapped out.
Yeah.
maybe they just need to turn.
No,
Grab
Did
the
you try that
post
yourself?
and replant it.
you have to unbolt it, and
Yeah.
move it to the next intersection, and rebolt it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I walked down Locust to check on the new curbing.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
It's looking
Is there gonna
reasonable.
be a bike lane?
I don't
Was there
know,
discussions with that?
I don't, it doesn't look like there's enough room for a bike lane
That's possible, it's pretty tight. And they're gonna put full sidewalks in.
on one side.
Oh, on one side.
Yeah, I'm with you about
Oh.
that. They've also made a, now one house because they want to park.
Yeah, there was some,
I'm not thrilled with that either.
I guess they have a choice of what.
That, I'm curious to know how, wait, and that's not Locust, is it?
What?
Where you were saying,
Yes, you know the entrance to the fairgrounds off Locust,
mhm,
just south of there?
Yep.
That house?
Yep.
That little wow in the curb to allow them to park on, between the curb and their side of their house, straight in. That's too accommodating as far as I'm concerned.
I'm curious to know what effort or how they got those existing homes to get, it was in a limited improvement district? Or how did they get them to
I have no.
how did they go about getting it into those existing
I
homes?
think that's a Jerry question.
Okay.
I don't
Is
know,
that-
I don't know where the right of way was before and what.
Is
I
that
don't
a
know if they-
Ryan question? No?
Maybe, I don't think he worked, I don't think it's really a planning related thing.
Yeah, I think it's a Jerry thing.
Okay, I'm curious.
Yeah,
I'll have
it
to
would be
ask.
interesting to hear
Okay.
how that worked out.
I'm just thinking that whatever process was done there, maybe we can encourage using it in other places.
I hope not.
Oh, why is that?
I don't like what they did.
Oh, okay, but still, the basic thing is that they actually got some sidewalk in on existing homes.
That's normal stuff.
Not for, right now, the only thing that's going on is new construction sidewalks.
They're putting new sidewalks on the west side of Locust.
I know, but those are existing homes.
Right.
And so to get those existing homes to upgrade their fronts, it's,
If the city has a right of way, they can do it.
It's not common, if it's an older home, so let's say I own a house on Locust and it was built in the 70s and there was a sidewalk in front of it, it's very unlikely that sidewalks are triggered, they're required, unless you like demo the home.
The existing sidewalks that were there
Oh, there were.
on the west side were taken out, because apparently they were in the wrong place.
oh, really? There were sidewalks there?
There were
at one
sections
point?
of sidewalks on the west side. Closer to the south end, of course.
That were just put in the wrong spots so it took them out?
I don't know,
Or
they were
were
taken
they
out.
old?
My assumption is they were
They've been there a while.
a few years.
Interesting. Okay, so all the more that I like.
Because they put in a duplex there, and new construction, they required putting in sidewalks. Well, that sidewalk in front of the duplex is gone.
Hmm.
And a new curb is in front of it. With area,
But no,
With no sidewalk?
but no sidewalk?
there's area for it. They haven't put in the sidewalks yet.
Oh,
Okay.
so this is a partial update. Gotcha.
I checked on the curbs.
I was just putting in the minutes exactly
Yeah.
what we were saying.
Yeah.
So make sure I got it right.
So once the sidewalks are cured, I mean, the curbs are cured, then they're gonna,
Okay,
because they have the gravel down for the sidewalks. They
okay,
just haven't poured them yet.
Okay.
okay,
Now the picture's more.
yeah,
Got it.
that helps,
Put a red light
Okay.
in there too.
yeah.
Tuesday.
We'll make that route.
We'll make that round.
Okay.
I'm tired.
Around Locust.
All right. Well, thank you. And,
I will say, Mindy, I just
Yes.
had a thought,
Mhm.
I just approved a project, a Manzanita Church on 14th and Manzanita in Northeast Canby. They just got approval to convert that to an apartment complex, and that includes that they need to upgrade the sidewalk. So all the sidewalks along that side will be brand new. We have to city standards.
Which is this?
So-
We got to
Yeah.
send info on that one. You
14th
sent us
and-
info. on that.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's
An email?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
couple
a
months
while, it was a
ago or a
while
month
ago,
ago.
after comments, but it is, yeah.
That's right. I remember.
So no, there's no street improvements
Yeah,
happening with that
that's right.
project, so it was not really a,
Didn't it already have sidewalks?
yeah, but I think they were pretty good. So now they
Yeah.
will be rebuilt, so those will be new, up to standard.
Looked like it was gonna be narrow. The road was
Narrow, the right of way is not changing, but I think it is a narrow street. We can,
Onto hotspots.
Is there anything going on,
Go
I
ahead.
don't know if this is the right time, but with like, the Forest Service and moving forward with the personal plan? Is there anything?
Our next step is to chat with the south side neighbors, do the walkthrough with city staff and the neighbors. And then, honestly, I think Jamie is probably so overwhelmed, not overwhelmed, but, so much is going on with the comprehensive plan update and everything that I feel like too little is happening on that end with the National Park Service. So, yeah, I think we need to.
Well, we've kind of
Get-
ground to a halt after, it's been over a year now,
Yeah.
since
Nothing's happened.
nothing's happened, and,
Is it
Well-
the city's problem?
well, I
There
don't-
are things that are happening
we don't
in
know.
the sense of that we have to keep it, we've got it in the parks plan. We have to get it back in the comprehensive plan and the TSP. And we toured the property with the landowners and city staff on the phase one. So now, as things are, if the rain stops and we can do a walkthrough on the rest of it with city staff and some of the property owners, that's going to be the next step. Keeping it in the comprehensive plan and TSP. Those are our three big things right now. And with the city council,
Are we gonna have to re-argue everything again with the property owners? Like we've done 3 or 4 times?
Mandy was kind of making a really good point. I think she should finish with the city council. You said with the city council, if you were interrupted.
yeah,
Finish your thought.
I think that we just, we need to get our ducks in a row. Just, that's kind of it.
Mhm.
So,
Because we've lost our advocate on city council?
Yeah.
And
We don't
we don't have a new advocate?
Is he here?
He's only been one meeting.
He's been to one meeting. And so,
You know,
I think first
sometimes
things
before they
first.
happen, things have to line up.
yes,
They're not lining up right now. So we have to move slowly, gently, and trying to move it along without causing any weight. Getting things to the level of the city council will work against us. So we have to wait until the members of city council change enough that we get some fresh air in there.
Why not? I mean, you said that
um,
the new councilman's been.
let's
for the last
table
meeting.
this for now.
What?
We'll table this for
And
now.
hopefully there's no minutes, notes on this.
Look behind you.
Oh,
It's being
yeah,
recorded.
Okay,
that's why I do my best.
so we are attending to this, so,
Okay.
okay. I know it's frustrating. So, all righty, on to any hot spots spotted of late that need some attention? If not, we'll switch over to outreach with Brett.
Yeah, there's been a couple more Facebook postings. I've done posted the ODOT link to give input, posted that a couple times, and Bruce posted the Malala River cleanup, and I think Jeff has posted, did you post something? Yeah, so there's that. You had talked about doing an event that could be outreach to the Hispanic community. And I did talk to the director of Bridging Cultures, and she says they have the funding to do pretty much anything we want, but the issue is they are short-staffed and they just don't have the, she has a mailing list of like 1,000 to 2,000 people. So if we want to get messaging out, she can text, she has this text message group that she can text to, so that's just something to know about for the future. I think we would want to be really careful and not get all excited about doing something and utilizing that until we maybe can team up with some group that would be interested in helping to run something like that. I don't know.
And I was also just thinking if there's something valuable, that might be a good way to, if some of this ODOT material for bike ped safety, is worthwhile and in Spanish. And if it seems, important.
And I actually probed her a little bit about, because she's really got her thumb on the Spanish-speaking community in Canby, and I probed her a little bit on the logging road and whether she's aware, and she said they've actually gone and taken walks, like she and her staff have gone and taken walks on it, and they've taken a few people on it, but she said for the most part, people just feel uncomfortable. They don't feel super welcome on it, and it's interesting, like I'll never forget when Lupita and I were kind of interviewing people or talking to people about it, and there was this story, one guy said a dog ran after him one time when he was on the trail, and so he just hasn't been back there since, and it just, for some reason, it's thought of as like a creepy place, I guess, and so it would be good to eventually do something where we can just bring people out, even if it's just a handful of people, because then word spreads. If you get a few people in the habit, or a few more people in the habit of going out there and utilizing it, then they'll talk to their friends about it, and word will spread. Just some food for thought.
Yeah. And it's my understanding when we went to the trails meeting that a lot of times culturally they'll be hesitant to go out on a trail at first, and, because they don't always know where it goes and all that. And, but usually if they go out in a group as a family, they're more often feeling comfortable. So,
What would be cool is if we could team up with, I don't know, like if some public health college student or something wanted to do a project, do a public health kind of project or something, to just something like that where we could get helping hands to help organize it and facilitate it once it's happening. But
For a potential event, if you're saying the nonprofit doesn't have enough volunteers, is it fair to assume that to do the event would require additional volunteers who speak Spanish? Right, so there's like a
Probably.
pool of volunteers. within
Probably,
the
I don't even
pool.
necessarily think the Spanish speaking thing would be
It's not much favorite.
a requirement.
yeah.
I mean, I think if there's a few people that speak
Yeah,
Spanish,
okay.
but it really depends on, because if she does this mailing list with 2,000, send something out to 2,000 people, it's like, oh my gosh, what do we need to be prepared for? Or is there a way to have it go out to a smaller number of people? I don't know. So I can talk to her a little bit more about specific ideas and what she would think we would need, maybe for staffing. But it really depends on exactly, I guess, what we wanted to do.
Even thinking about some sort of, if it's a festival day, of a,
Saint.
yeah, a saint or something, that, that
Right.
they want to start a little something, that would actually be like, oh, that's something we relate to. And just have it happen to be on the logging road, and then they'll feel a little more connection. So anyway, this could.
And just one little section of it would be good. And then is there gonna be more parking near Eco Park at some point? Or
There will be is the dog park going in, or is it?
That project is stalled, or is stalled.
Yeah.
okay, so that could be
It's
one.
not being pursued.
Go ahead.
I got that one from Parks and Rec.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, well, with that, any further? In that case, I will throw it over to Bruce.
You want me to do county or Parks and Rec?
Do whichever you would like. And Bruce, I do have a comment on this when we get there, just because I sent a message during the meeting to Hannah with ODOT, and she got back to me, so I just want to share some.
Okay, that's fine. In the county feedback, I think I'm going to start with looking at the agenda and touching base. The first real subject was Vision Zero Suite, and it's back to the pedestrian crash data. And you remember a couple of months ago, I showed you some crash maps. And so anyway, Joe Merrick, who is the head of engineering, presented this to us. I mean, it's a really neat way to look at that, where you can tell the time of day and the, intoxicants were involved. So anyway, it's very interesting. One thing that was interesting was the data was collected between 2014 and 2020. 21 will be coming soon. But the bike crashes peaked between 3 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon, while pedestrians peaked 6 to 9. That was a kind of interesting.
6 to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Right, in the evening. So that was kind of interesting.
That makes sense, that makes total sense though, the pedestrian one, because of, you lose daylight and people are hard to see. A lot of people wear dark clothes and it's raining at night and they're hard to see, so that kind of makes sense.
Pedestrians are more likely to walk later than cyclists or to cycle.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah,
It
good point.
doesn't always hold. So then we had a presentation from ODOT, and that's, does everybody have a copy of this?
I have a copy.
Okay, so I'm going to do this a little bit different. I'm going to drop down to the second bullet point. And the consultant talked about, looking at the stress levels for pedestrians and cyclists and whether it essentially warranted additional upgrades. And he argued that it did not. And so when he's done with his presentation, I said, well, stress has been equated through this whole study is safety too. And we know that you got very congested roads with the data maps. Where busy roads are, it's where you have your fatalities, it's where you have your crashes. And I can't see Canby having a 25-30% increase in traffic due to people trying to avoid the 205 tolls and not have an impact on pedestrians and that. And there he said, well, this is what the data shows, and that's what I said, I don't care, I don't buy it. And that's how we left it. However, I did compliment him on his background screen, which is a beautiful picture of the Trail of Hiawatha. So you can take it to the Trail of Hiawatha. It sits, actually, just if you do the Trail of Coeur d'Alene and you go across the panhandle of Idaho, just as you go across into Montana, is where there's an old railroad grade where the passenger train Hiawatha used to climb through the mountains. And so it's been converted to rails trails. And it's a beautiful bridges and just a beautiful scene, of course, and it was beautiful. So he deserved a compliment there, but he made no points with me on the stress levels. So, are we going to get a lot from ODOT out of this? I don't think so. I screenshot this, which I got 2 copies. I'll pass this around and I'll talk about it a little bit, about what they have planned so far for Canby. Let's see, I'm going to start up at the intersection at New Era in 99E. And there they're proposing it says a signal here at that point. Yeah.
I just avoid that intersection.
Yeah, and let's see, I thought it was a roundabout or someplace.
There's no room for, oh,
Maybe
there is
I
a
knew-
roundabout.
oh, you mean
A roundabout, yeah.
Yes.
Where Haynes and Uera and.
Yeah.
maybe-
Oh, yeah, I have seen the
And so,
residue.
Bruce, these are
accidents
technically
there.
not, these are outside city, they're in Canby, but these are outside city limits.
I go down
I know,
territorial.
people,
I know,
very well, I'm going to come in town.
Oh, you have to make a
The
left.
north.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah, that is your.
Right.
I go from, like, I go like
Yeah.
Meyer, and, yeah.
So
And
there's
then we
only
have-
truly one.
Now we're getting close, we got a Haynes Road
Territorial.
coming in, and they want a bus stop improvement there, a roundabout, and it's more intersection
Where is that?
improvement.
I'm just-
Haynes, where Haynes comes into 99.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's where they want a
They're gonna
roundabout?
put a roundabout on 99?
Yeah.
I do like, so I would advocate.
Or there,
Intersection is-
that's what it says, a roundabout. Now, is it, you come off 99 into a roundabout for Haynes and South End Road, or, I don't know, but that's,
So I
That's
prefer a
what-
roundabout over light, that's preferable over stoplight.
wait, it'll come around, you can read it, that's what it says.
That's right there. Roundabout.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you come into Canby, they say safety improvements, I believe that's mostly sidewalks.
Yeah, my understanding is
That's a
sidewalks
goofy-
and,
And then it says at Ivy, it has a bike ped improvement, more prominent
I avoided.
crosswalk markings, add a green dash bike crossing markings, And so that's what they hit at Ivy. And then down, all the way down 99, down Lone Elder, they want that intersection to be squared up a little bit better. Add a traffic signal, and a SB through line, a southbound through line, and then add a northbound right turn lane. So that's it, I'll let you pass that around. No, there's one copy, there's one other going around.
Look at it one more time.
So, anyway, that's what I understand is coming, at least that's what they told us. We did a thing on hotspots. You know where 213 comes over and overpasses 205? You can be riding a bike down 213, and then you have to actually cross 2 lanes of traffic coming onto the freeway. So that was our hotspot, and we wrote a letter to ODOT.
I noticed the reaction, the response. No, nothing needed.
No, I don't think we've seen a response yet. It just, this is on 213 and I-205. The letter just got finished up. This is a draft of it. There's one other addition to it. Basically some green paint, 25 mile an hour thing, maybe a flashing the speed sign. But there's no good answers there. And how it's accepted, I don't know, but we just felt we had to say something about this spot. And it's outside the county's jurisdiction, so all we could do was sort of.
Can I ask you a question briefly?
Sure.
Did they in this presentation quantify at all, like impacts to Canby and diversion traffic? Did they kind of give?
They did not. They did in an earlier thing they did talk about, months before.
Yeah.
And it seems to me shockingly
May I have one of those?
underestimated.
Yeah.
And-
Well, and I think what the tricky part is what ODOT's only done is evaluate 99. But let's be honest, if there's, if there's slow down on 99, who's not gonna go, circle the whole time,
Exactly.
go on territorial or.
And a lot of people heading from Portland, out of Portland, just skipping 205 altogether and coming down I-5.
Mhm.
And that means that they're feeding into, going through Barlow and Knight's Bridge and Territorial and Holly and all that. And that's just one way into town.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was a screenshot
Of
of the presentation.
And so in this,
So you had something you wanted to add.
yes. So this flyer here, I will send the link out again, but if you go to the I-205 toll project, there is a place for public comment, and if you prefer to send it in a written form rather than not on their questionnaire, you can send it in to Andy Putney.
And it's till April 26th, I think, right? That they're taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first bullet point made me laugh.
So, level of traffic stress? No, wait. so
No,
they didn't
the first
comment.
bullet point,
Oh, bullet point. How do we?
intersection of Territorial Road and Holly.
Oh, yeah, this is from, that's because I asked that question.
That's why I laughed.
Oh, why?
What does that have to do with 205?
Oh, it has everything to do.
Yeah, because it's just gonna increase the traffic tremendously that way. All the
This is
people
how
down
they
that cut off 99 to go up, so if you can be going territorial.
Yeah, everyone, they feed into our main east-west on the north side arterial, which is territorial. They'll come down Birch or Holly to territorial.
Avoid 99E because of the increased
What's
traffic.
that?
Mhm.
Avoid 99E because of the increased traffic,
Mhm.
because of the 205 total.
Mhm.
Well, they'll increase it over what it's already increased. I mean, you go along, come on Nice Road Road, you
So-
can see all the people turning right there on, what is it, the Birch, and going down the territory,
Now,
like
because of the
nonstop.
speed humps, some of them go to Holly. and-
Oh, okay, well, that's why, yeah.
So it's actually the speed bumps have reduced the traffic on Birch.
I mean, put speed bumps in
So
home.
I think if we put speed bumps on every road,
Well,
this is
So
rural
are they
welfare.
New tires every.
Well,
Good idea.
The only thing is
Who
emergency
says in
vehicles
response
can't
to
go
that?
as quick.
Well, they can go fast enough.
They should
What
have
cutouts
interacting
provide
speed bumps at the emergency vehicles.
Was-
They
what
have
was-
one-
Speed bumps go down.
They have ones in
Oops.
Portland where you just cut out the portion.
Oh, yeah, those.
Well, what do they, how much do they figure traffic will be reduced on 205 once tolls go into they?
Well,
They
I
must
don't know,
have
but
figured
they
that
think that people are gonna drive I-5, right, instead of 205?
Well,
Yeah, right,
I find that people.
if they're going to Oregon City.
So technically, what was the decrease they figured was going to happen when the tolls are put in? How much do they think it was going to decrease traffic on
This is
205?
we are projecting that I,
Lose
so
up to
I would punch
30%
better with it.
They-
of the traffic.
Okay.
Yeah,
They are,
Okay.
right, they are envisioning that people will choose not to take trips, which they're calling discretionary trips, or,
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
patterns to avoid
Right.
paying the toll.
that's right.
And
So,
then they said that after about 2 years, isn't it about 2 years, I think it was,
People will start.
people will start forgetting about it and just going back to normal traffic patterns,
So congestion was never
typically
really,
with a toll.
except for 2 years.
I think it depends on how much it is.
That's what I think too.
Because
Well, have you all driven on where there's lots of toll roads and surface streets? Like I was driving in Orlando, and on the, on the toll roads, the traffic was fine, you pay the toll and cruise along. And on the surface streets, it's the best.
Congested, yeah.
And it's not gonna be pretty safe.
So as per was mentioned back in our February meeting, that the territorial road in Holly Street was going to be seeing higher levels of traffic when the tolls, when that 205 tolling would come through because of heavier side street traffic and avoidance, like taking I-5. So I had asked Hannah Wilkinson this, and so they brought it up in their meeting, and so I encourage everyone, and I will, if it's okay, send a letter from this committee, and I think the city of Canby should send one too, but if it's, I don't know what they're doing for some of the projects in Gladstone and Milwaukee seemed like they were talking about side streets and all getting heavier traffic, and they were going to be doing improvements on those, smaller ones, kind of like the territorial in Holly would be. Did you notice that too?
No, I thought it was mostly the major corridors.
Was it? Because they were talking about some of those, I thought some of them were smaller, because they were, sounded smaller to me, because it wasn't on the freeway, they were two streets.
Like Highway
The one was
43,
on-
it's going to be in Epic.
Yeah,
They'll probably do
that's,
some
I
stuff there.
understand that.
They'll probably do something on McLaughlin, but I don't.
They had those,
And
but.
then through downtown Oregon City by the river, they'll be doing
Mhm.
stuff there,
But then there was one along the trolley trail that was not on
but
McLaughlin.
that was brought up as a recommendation, but they're new talking about 99E not off of 99, they're talking where the trolley trail crosses 99.
Is that what they were talking about?
That's what they were talking about.
Okay.
My understanding is that the modeling they're doing is only looking at these major corridors and nothing beyond that. So unless it's maybe associated with the trail might be associated with an intersection on the corridor, and so
Exactly.
that's kind of their mitigation approach.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this full report that they're discussing, but my understanding is that they haven't evaluated to that level of detail.
Well, and they had brought up along the Willamette River Drive and some crossings there, I thought, but they, again, hadn't addressed, that was brought up in the meeting, and no one had really, it wasn't in there.
My sense is it made it sound in the beginning like they're going to make a lot of improvements in a lot of places to be impacted. Now they're pulling way back.
Way back.
Just as they said, oh, the stress isn't going to change in bicycles and pedestrians. Thus, we don't need to do anything.
Mhm. Yeah. And it's very interesting because I think that there was certain members of the county committee, advisory committee that were pretty enthusiastic about the toll project, just getting less traffic. But there seems so little infrastructure protection for bike and pedestrian that, and heavier impacts, on these neighborhoods, streets, that a lot of us were shocked. Yeah.
Certain irony there, though, is
Yeah.
the people that are going to be negatively impacted the most are the people that never use that section of 205. And when do you ever drive in that section of 205?
So,
I go to Vancouver or Longview.
We do it all the time.
You go from I-5 over to Ferguson?
Oh, for me, I go up 99 now to get on 205.
Yeah, so
in the
do I.
city.
I mean, I'm not
Because
gonna-
we live in Canton.
But just remember.
That's what I said, the people that are living most impacted negatively are those that don't use that.
Right, I could,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
could count on one hand how many times I drive on that road in a year, probably.
And see,
Just
we go
remember,
from the part of
this is-
Canby I live in, we go south on 205 to get to I-5. That's a quicker way, is for us to go south 205, get on
Yeah.
I-5 by Wilsonville and then go I-5.
This is just the
Yeah,
first
we have to
step,
go up
the
by-
first phase of towing all the freeways in the metropolitan area.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying, they're missing the boat. We're supposed to be going to electric cars. Nobody's going to pay their gas taxes. How are they going to fund these roads then? They should be working on that problem more than the darn tolls.
This is working on that.
Yeah,
No,
well,
Get the
this
money in
is,
there.
they'll just raise it.
they'll just
no,
tolls.
no,
That's
it's
the
not.
answer.
The tolls won't do it. I'm saying they cover the freeways, but it won't cover all the other roads.
How's that sound?
Yeah.
So,
So Mindy, you're talking
Only
about
did
the
this
letter on
in
behalf of
Amazon
this committee.
stores on the road.
I was wondering about, I was thinking a letter on behalf of this committee, and then, she kind of just referred me to their website,
Mhm.
but seems like we're a little more substantial than just answering the survey. So maybe I do write the letter and send it in to Mandy and hit on
I
all
would-
those points.
I would certainly comment, do the public comment and send the email as well to
Yeah.
Mindy directly. I guess, I just would say that it's important, if you're writing a letter on behalf of the committee, that the main points of the letter are agreed upon in this meeting here and not
Yes.
discussed via email.
Correct.
Before the comments are due, is what I was just trying to.
I said, when I did the comment, I said I would like to see more detail and what the plans are, what the mitigation plan is. I'd like to see the detail. And I also said I want a Canby bicycle and pedestrian.
That's fine, yeah. So, first of all, how will this impact, since we should talk about this now, because we need to submit this letter, how do we think it will impact that intersection?
You're talking about
tolling.
territorial and all.
Territorial and Holly.
By creating more,
Do we want to write this letter from this committee? Do we want to submit this?
I'm in favor.
So what you're saying is, can we do it like in a motion, like, or can we define what you're saying? Because,
I'm gonna,
so you're,
Well, we're not gonna-
so we're gonna
we
do a
want to
letter.
hit some high point, or points that we want to make in this letter. And I'll make sure those are
Mhm.
included.
Yes, so the
Is that what
option
you're
would be
saying?
to kind of discuss it here, and I guess kind of what you're saying, just for everybody to decide. And then, or you could do what Britt did and submit your comments that you type up, and then just say, my name is blah, 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 and I am also a representative on the.
well, doing both would probably be the.
Yeah, or both,
Better.
yeah.
Yeah, I think people should go on as
I
individuals
think there's
too,
gonna be a
and
lot
make
of-
comment, but also I think.
Well, when you write about that, you talk about the reason for it is the people that are bypassing going 99 through Canby seek alternate routes. And the alternate route now primarily, I guess now is Holly down to Territorial, and then Territorial back to 99 again.
Unless
So
we
it's
put
the
spike
increased
strips
traffic
on
on that.
Territorial and make them go to Aurora.
Yeah.
They just go to 99 to Aurora.
There's two problems. There's problem of traffic going through, or coming from Aurora through town, whether it's Territorial, Holly, Birch. There's that. There's also the congestion on 99E will increase. That congestion will be spilled over into the other arterials in county. And the more congestion there is, the incidents and the safety for pedestrian cyclists is decreased.
But I would use other arterials, because there's really
That should
only
be
one
one of the
arterial.
points in the
Isn't
letter,
there?
what you just said.
Well, qualifies as an
You're
arterial.
correct, I believe 99,
That's the only arterial, isn't it?
and the rest are cool.
And larger cities.
Yeah, the collector.
Ivy's the other arterial on the other side of town. Going
Sounds
east-west.
Well, I think you could say
On the
arterials
south
and
side.
collectors. I mean,
But
it's,
if they're out there,
They're
they
both.
just go to 213, are they gonna come into Canby?
But
They're out
213
on
for
Ivy.
that, so.
if the traffic's heavy, it'll back up on Elm Street, it'll back up more on Grant, as we go down all the way, it'll be all more congested.
So we want to write a letter in regards to the expected increase in traffic on Holly and Territorial.
And
It
then
would
we
be
need-
caused by the I-205 tolling, is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Well, those two streets and maybe a number of others.
No,
Do
Birch.
we want to say arterial streets, or do we want to define streets?
I would say that, because our go ahead.
I was gonna say you could kind of make a more vague statement and say something like,
So I do think naming a couple is good, because when I took the survey, it specifically said they wanted specific examples. The more specific, giving street names, whatever, the better. So if we named a couple, and then it could also say, and other arterials or whatever.
Well, that's, the traffic that's speeding this is coming off Maxbridge Road, not 99.
Well,
So 99, they're gonna just keep going to 99.
here's the thing, is in February, we had made a motion in this committee to focus on this intersection as part of us being, that it needs infrastructure, crosswalks, sidewalks, clear bike lanes, basically traffic calming. I don't know about that, I shouldn't say that. But anyway, at this intersection, and we made a motion to, it would be particularly affected. That's what I mentioned to Hannah from ODOT, and that's why it was mentioned. because I told her, we had made a motion, and that it is one of our main focuses of the year is to bring this to their attention and get improvements on it. So that's kind of where we're at. So do we bring up other, that it's going to be impacting Canby in a significant way? But this is one of the side streets that are going to be, at particular intersections that's going to be affected.
Well, probably the most, because you're not going to really be able to effectively get around Canby to the south unless you get off and go on 13th all the way down to Malino and back and around. I mean, you could do that, but I don't think that people won't do that. And like I said, it's coming off nice, because if you come off, when you're coming across Arndt Road, and and you go on Knightsbridge because you don't want to go over to 99, because the traffic backs up there so much. That's what I do. At 4 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to go over to 99.
I made the mistake of going down there to go to the golf course one time. I was playing out in my ankle. Holy cow. I turned around and came back around because it was so long.
So that's why they go on nice. But the people that, drive it, they're good. They probably live in Oregon City or somewhere up there and work in Salem or Wilson Village. That's what I do.
Well, I like the idea of saying that we think it's going to negatively impact a lot of our streets. And in particular,
These are some examples.
These are the ones we think will be most impacted.
Okay.
So that we're saying it's a broad reaching thing that's going to affect us. And then we think these streets right here are the ones mostly we're going to see. So because that goes to what Britt says, where they want specifics. But I mean, let's face it, as a whole, as a community, we feel it's going to have a major impact. And we can't know what that impact is.
Right.
But we do know
that one we know from experience.
That Hawley's going to be affected, Territorial is going to be affected, any of those roads. That's my thoughts.
I think
That was the point I was making earlier.
I don't.
Yeah.
There's a specific route, anything affecting the traffic from Aurora to 99E, any of those routes will be affected, plus in general, there'll be more congestion on other routes, other arterial collectors. So another way to frame it. Whatever you'd like to do, Mindy, you're offer.
Maybe it'd be too much information, but you might indicate to them why we know that those streets would be affected, because when people come over from I-5 on Arndt Road, they make a decision to go to 99 or to go on Knightsbridge Road. And at certain times of the day, most people go on Knightsbridge Road, and that's what affects this.
And it wouldn't hurt to give the reason,
Yeah,
like you said.
That's how
and that's what they're saying.
And we know that from experience, because that's the traffic pattern now, and it will undoubtedly increase.
Like they want
They have a
to-
solution, right? There's 2 turn lanes northbound off of 99E.
Yeah.
Barlow, thank you. On Barlow, they're going to have 2 northbound turn lanes.
Isn't that what the county?
There's nothing,
In there.
this doesn't show that.
I know, but the county has a plan
The county's been working on that.
for a long time.
Okay,
But I agree, I think it's really great, that's the value of the comments as members of the community is, ODOT's putting in a model and crunching numbers where you're saying, let's ground truth it, we know what's happening. You see what's happening on the ground every day, so maybe.
And they seem to be
and provide
soliciting that type
additional
of,
information.
yeah, they seem to want to do that.
Yeah, and the more details we can give, the better in that. And maybe they have some open comment areas that I can submit also, I hope, in in the survey.
Oh, so Britt, it was a survey with specific questions, you could, was there anywhere just like, what did you have?
Well, they kept asking for
Oh,
additional
okay,
comments,
I
be specific and
Yeah.
how, and they gave some pretty great questions on types of impact
Uh-huh.
and congestion and lack of infrastructure. Okay.
And we could also
So-
throw in something about we're concerned about the environmental pollution, and can we do what
Yeah.
else is traffic?
Yeah, we're already at ozone drop, where we get a lot of inversion as it is.
But if cars are sitting idling at the intersection,
Yeah.
well, that's not good for the environment.
We need more roundabouts.
Yeah.
It'll look like Benji before you know it.
Oh my gosh. And it's got.
Oh, there's so many.
So, maybe it's just too little too late to be doing this letter,
When's the due date?
since we can't really review it outside of.
Well, can't we just approve you to do
I
it based
think-
upon what we
Yeah,
just
it's
said?
kind of like the main comments, if you all agree on, whatever.
I mean, I wrote in the minutes,
highlights,
a letter was discussed and we can approve
I'll
it.
go off of both.
To send a letter to ODOT on behalf of the committee regarding the negative impact of Canby by the I-205 tolling. Committee will write the letter about the increase in traffic for Canby in general. She will specifically name streets like Birch, Holly, and Territorial that are affected. Isn't that good enough?
Yeah, good, perfect.
Done.
So then I think Mindy from there, you can make it into a full-fledged letter.
Right.
I move that Mindy submit such a letter to the.
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
Thank you.
I put it here, it was approved, so thanks for
Oh, great, I didn't see, did you vote?
Oh, yeah.
I read.
Oh, okay, I didn't see you. Yeah, I wanted to be sure.
Russ is all CYA on me.
Okay, great. All right, and in that case, I think that covers it. And
I'd like to go back to
Bruce,
this.
did you have stuff from Parks?
Yeah,
What's that?
yeah,
Let's
but
go back to this.
Oh,
she's forgotten.
Bruce? This?
Yeah.
I don't understand territorial Knightsbridge Road here.
take a look at it.
Shows you make a turn on territorial to get down to Knightsbridge Road. So what street is that?
It could be Birch.
Is that Birch?
You're right, and I'm like,
Right.
no.
Where are you talking
This is
about?
Ivy right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something strange there, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Because it can't be,
Or,
it looks like you turn on Ivy, but you can't turn left to get to Knightsbridge Road. You have to turn on Holly. But that
It looks
doesn't,
like it's coming on Birch.
no.
We don't in the same spot?
You
They
see-
don't even
it's
have
like
Holly
Birch.
on there.
You see where Ivy
They
is?
don't have, what is that?
Yeah.
Birch would be way over here.
Well, yeah, but it's,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
not,
that may be Holly then.
But it doesn't line up.
It
Does it
doesn't
talk about
line up.
it in the?
No.
Well,
That's enough said about that. Next thing is,
it's only done by an engineer.
okay, next thing is down on Hayes Road. Says they're gonna put in sidewalks between bus stops. What? Sidewalks between what bus stops?
Oh, Cat stops there.
Canby area.
But they're gonna put a sidewalk between the bus stops.
Yeah, so.
So what two bus stops are they
which
putting,
two? I don't know.
and where they,
I know the one on New Denny, but I don't know where the other one is.
It seems like it would be more valuable to have the sidewalk be between the bus stop and like where Haynes Road comes into 99E, and maybe that's what they mean.
And
Because you see a lot of people walking along 99E and going into that, what's that apartment complex?
is, is that where possibly CAT meets a different bus service? Like that's where you transfer the Oregon City bus service there?
No, you can hit cat all the way,
Oh,
yeah.
And there's northbound and southbound on 99.
I'm just trying to figure out where the sidewalk is supposed to be going.
I wonder,
I would imagine in the northbound one, it would definitely be between Haynes Road, where it comes into 99, and the bus stop, because that's where I see it. And then there's a bus stop right across 99, and people run across 99
Yeah.
from that.
that's the dangerous
You
crossing.
can't put
Yeah,
a
everyone.
sidewalk across
Sidewalk there.
99 unless
And
they
a bridge.
well, I guess
It's
they'll go
funny
around.
that there they put a sidewalk. It's,
It is, the idea that there will be multimodal connection between here and Oregon City is scary. To commute to Oregon City.
I mean, it'd be nice if there were, but not directly on the road.
Not on
Yeah.
99.
Yeah.
no,
They, over the bluff.
Oh, that's good.
Mm.
would you want me to do the
So-
Parks and Rec?
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Most of the report was about the different parks, so I'm going to skip that for a second, and I'm going to go down to what's kind of interesting to me, and that is the Oregon Youth Soccer Association / Malala State Parks. There was no report, they're still waiting for an update, but there's still conversation going on in the background about with Oregon Youth Soccer trying to find some field space. And I do know the mayor was down meeting with the head of the area state parks down there. So I don't know what's going to happen, but there's something going on down there. And so there's that. I'm going to jump back to parks, and we're going to go to the dog park. Now, this is a draft of the minutes. It's not that group, it hasn't been edited, but I'll read it because it's better than my notes. Joe received direction from Scott Archer to ask the HHPR consultant to look around the city to identify appropriate locations for a dog park. Kara question, why we would ask a consultant to do the work that our city employees know more than anyone. Jerry's following the direction of the city administrator, that's what it says. So they're still looking around at different parks. There was some discussion of different parks that would be suitable. So dog park issues not settled.
So they think that Public Works knows more about locating a park
In the consultants.
than the consultants.
Yeah.
Who understand some demographics and park things.
Yeah.
So,
You know, like the
That was the
Senate
opinion.
Park.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the ones they mentioned.
that's like this big.
Which one was mentioned? Senate, what's the other,
It's,
park?
I don't know what
Something
they
like
call
Yeah, so
it.
anyway,
It's right there on Locust between
yeah.
Territorial and 22nd Avenue.
So there's reports on all the other parks, just about, except Legacy. And Legacy should have been mentioned under the outdoor exercise court, because that's where they want to put it. And they're talking about the contracting and how it needs to be done. But anyway, the outdoor exercise court, they're going to put it at Legacy. But I thought also that would be an idea for London where they have exercise stations along the way.
Yeah, and that has
Yeah,
been
that-
mentioned
Yeah.
several
So,
times by,
I don't want to go through and read all the parks, but,
No.
no, pass it, if you want to take a look at it, and there's a park that attracts your interest, go through it. I just want it back.
Well, shoot, where's the proposed location for a south side splash pad?
Not mentioned.
Well, I'm just saying that Legacy Park was a primary spot for that,
Mhm.
and that would conflict.
There was nothing listed at Legacy Park at all in that monthly report.
Well, I have to say that
But they should have been talking about, because that's where they're going to put the exercise.
when
Yeah.
the summer comes, we're going to need more pickleball courts.
yes,
And I'll tell you why, because my wife bought pickleball sets, so my grandkids love to play over. And I can't believe it, when it's cold out there, they want to play, and there are people playing this time of year.
Oh, wow.
wow,
And there's 4 courts there, I think there's 4. And oftentimes, 2 or 3 of them are busy, so I can't imagine when the weather gets good, it's gonna be,
I took one pickleball lesson, and that's the only time I've ever played, and it was about 100 degrees plus that day. And so the court was not very busy.
you really don't need a lesson.
You really
I
don't.
don't know. I've been watching the
So
pros.
the rules are-
Well, yeah, I mean,
So-
you know, for
Are there lights in
recreational,
the
whatever
courts?
benefits.
It's the rules
Um,
that.
I heard talk, they might put some in at the golf course. The Willamette Valley.
Oh, yeah, what is it?
Oh, that'd be good. They should, oh, yeah, that'd be a
It might
draw.
increase our membership.
I
Yeah.
was listening on the way here, that there were, 5 years ago, there were 400 pickleball courts in the country, and now there are 2,500.
Oh, wow.
Really?
And I
Did
think
they take out the
Yes.
one in Lake Oswego that got taken away?
Yeah, too much noise, quack, 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 quack.
So for our next, thank you, Bruce.
Okay, we're on next meeting now?
Yeah, next meeting, looks like May 9th, Tuesday at 6:30. And if that works,
Mindy, can I just add one comment?
yes,
With the comp plan stuff starting out, those are night meetings. I don't know if those are gonna be in this room, but, we might have to kind of shift locations. So also just keep an eye out for what room we're meeting in.
I was just thinking about thanking you earlier for moving us to this location.
I'll do my best to lock it down, but it doesn't let me, book it every month for Tuesday. I don't have the authorization.
all right, and with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Oh, thank you, Cliff. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Woo-hoo. Not, in that case, the meeting adjourned.
Hey, Bruce, what?